Yeah, we come in real good over there. Our tower's actually just inside the Corona line. If you ever like take M21, like you're going into Owasso, and you know how you come to 52 and 13 there. If you look off to the left along the highway on 21, you can see our tower. That's our tower. But if you continue on, like you're going to Owasso, you come up to that Valero gas station on the right. That farm field right on the left is where our tower, our transmitter is.
I have to fight a little bit where I'm at to get you to come in, and depends on if certain days I have to move my little antenna and certain days I don't. It just depends. But we live in a dead zone because we're in that state game area up there, so
Gotcha.
we got a lot of trees and stuff.
I live up in Birch Run. It's pretty crystal clear there.
Yeah.
One of my kids, my daughter, lives up in Hemlock, Michigan.
Okay.
They get us great up there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, real good.
Cool. Yeah, cool. And then, I'll have to
Last year, I got it almost all the way to Caseville downtown.
Yeah, certain days you can. I've carried it up to West Branch before. These stereos in these newer cars today are pretty good. They're really good antennas and whatnot.
Yeah, because we can get some Detroit stations up at our place in the car.
Sure.
Not on the radios in the house, but in the car.
MJ, you're probably on the last page.
After down, my hotel room, come on by, we're great. Yeah, what's my? Oh, screw that up.
These guys here train a lot of people. They own Patriot Ambulance, Swartz Creek. I think they just pretty much bought all of them out. This is their main training center, and they pay you to train you. And if you make it, you're guaranteed a job.
Yeah, I thought that was our crowd out in the hallway when I walked in here. And they said, no, you're down there.
That little group that's out in the hallway there, that probably in there now, that's their elite group.
Really?
Those are the smart ones, smart ones.
Definitely need them.
Boy, God bless them. Anything medical anymore is, oh no. Years ago, I was a volunteer fireman up in the Saginaw area. Volunteer fire departments probably do more car accidents and heart attacks than they do actual fighting fires. So we are all trained in that, CPR and everything. But I don't know, in today's world, I don't know what I would do. I'll certainly call 911, but to actually get down and start working on somebody, I don't, with the way the world is anymore. Oh,
Lawsuit.
yeah. Everybody's there. Okay, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Bill Bailey. Yeah, I've been in radio for 30 years now. Hopefully I'll retire soon. I'm still having fun, that's why I'm here. Prior to radio, I had 20 years with A&P grocery stores, managed
wow.
grocery stores.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Back in the early 70s, when I was in high school, I started out as a bagger, bagging groceries, and just kind of worked my way up. And then back in the mid 90s, they closed the stores. What they
Farmer
did is,
Jack, right?
that's correct, they closed the stores for 90 days and reopened under the name of Farmer Jack just to bust the union. That's what that was all about. But luckily I was there soon enough. I've been drawing a retirement from them since I've been 60, so not bad. But thank you very much for coming in today and filling out the questionnaires. Probably the hardest thing in radio is, what do you all want to hear? And I've been in radio now, like I said, for 30 years, and I've worked for all the corporate radio stations. I've been in Toledo, Ohio. I've been down in North Carolina, so I've been around the block. All corporate radio stations, and what drew me to the Fox was a local person bought it. Okay, his name's Rod Kroll, just lives down the road 30 miles in Lansing, Michigan. Rod was managing a group of stations for a corporate radio station company in Lansing. And then he decided, why not just buy my own? We're very good at making other people really rich. So he decided to do it himself. So my history here in Flint is I actually managed B95 for a long time, over 10 years, 10, 12, 13 years. And I was working for a company named Citadel right here. They were right here, as you guys probably all know. And a company called Cumulus bought Citadel. So what happened is now they own too many radio stations in Flint. So they had to sell something. And he decided to sell 103.9. So Mr. Kroll, went into a trust and went up for sale. So I managed it while it was in the trust. And then Mr. Kroll purchased it, and he kept me on as his general manager. So I've been here with Mr. Kroll since day one, and just started our 13th year. So it's been a pretty good, exciting ride for me. I put down a bunch of, we're just going to have like just a group discussion. That's why we're taping it. Just so you can't remember everything that's said, obviously, and so that's why we're taping it. And we'll go back and record it from there. But anybody have any questions before we get started? Yes.
I'm curious about how the playlists are determined. Does corporate play into the playlists? Is it strictly DJ's choice, request, call in? I have no idea how it works. I'm very curious.
Okay. If you're working for a corporate company, they just send you the playlist and you have to follow it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, they tell you what you have to play. Here, it doesn't work that way. I met Jeremy. Jeremy is the last living breed of the guy who actually schedules music day to day.
Okay.
He decides what we play. Now, and we'll get into, that's a good question, but we'll get into it. But we also have had, they call them consultants, okay? And we have consultants that fly in and they're supposed to be the experts, right? So we have consultants fly in and they kind of advise us what they think we should play, okay? And what they do is they do all this research in the Midwest, and they compare like all the different classic rocks. So what's the top 350 songs that are played the most in the Midwest, on classic rock stations across the country. So they'll open it up to maybe 400 or 500 songs that'll play when we're not in a ratings period. But what consultants love to do is they believe that all you people want to hear are the hits, your favorite songs, believe it or not. So we took their advice for a little while, and we determined, okay, we're done with consultants. We're gonna do this on our own. Now, if you've been listening lately, have you noticed a difference in the music? Yeah. There's classic rock songs from here to here, thousands. Why are we only playing 400, right? So we just determined, look, we want to play the good old stuff too, you know, from back in the early 70s. See, here's the challenge. The clock keeps ticking forward, right? So when you go back 30 years, 25, 20 years, what's considered classic now? So the newer stuff. Now we're getting into the 80s stuff. Well, the problem is most of our artists,
The 80s were 40 years ago.
most of our artists, whether we like it or not, they're not even with us anymore. They're not coming out with new music like the bands today. So we decided and pleaded with our owner, hey, let us do our thing. We're the people that live here. I live there. I'm there 80 hours a week. And we hear the feedback from you guys every day. The DJs come in and say, man, we should be playing this, or we should be playing that, or we should be playing this. So we kind of kicked the consultant to the curb for a little bit. Great guy, and he does know his stuff, believe me. And we decided to do it on our own this time and play a wider variety of the classic rock that we all love and like to hear. So I'm going to go through my little list here. We'll just talk about each question one at a time, and then we're done. We'll be done. So I'll try to get through it as fast as I can. But if somebody has to leave by a certain time or whatever, please, feel free. So let's start with question one. Show of hands. Who here listens to 103.9 Fox? So we all do. Fantastic. How would you describe the Fox to someone who has never heard the station before?
Classic rock.
Okay. Commercial classic rock, traditional classic rock.
Traditional classic rock, okay.
Yeah, I would say it's classic rock, but it also covers, some of the a little bit newer stuff. Like for me, hair bands are now classic rock.
Okay.
So it does cover, I guess, a little bit less classic.
Right.
I'd say, even though unfortunately it's classic.
Well, the hair bands, how that clock keeps ticking forward all the time. Well, some of them hair bands are falling in that classic era.
Yeah, even Foo Fighters now.
Yeah.
They've been around forever.
The Beach Boys.
I don't think they were ever classic rock.
Either.
Not that I didn't like the Beach Boys. I know my mom, dad's sister really did. But there's something to be said for them. They deserve what they did. Anybody else on that question?
I would probably also say too, like it's a local
That's what I was
hometown classic rock radio station.
Bingo, that's what I
With a
wanted
little
to
bit of
hear.
blues in there too.
Not sure if you guys realize this or not, but to what Travis just said, we are the only locally owned radio station left in Flint. When Mr. Kroll bought the station, and you guys will probably remember, they played Alice Cooper at night, and they had a lot of what we call syndication on the station. to fill in the time slots. And the first thing I did when he threw me the keys is I took it all off. And I started hiring people. And I says, look, we're a classic rock station, and we love going to bars at night and doing live remotes and kind of partying a little bit, whatnot. And can't do that when Alice Cooper's doing a show from Arizona. And
Well, and the radio station in Lapeer, don't they have him? Don't they have all that stuff?
they
I
may.
think
I-
they do.
Yeah, they're all syndicated.
Yeah, so
Quite
you
frankly, I don't
guys,
pay
yeah.
attention to them
Yeah.
Okay.
because they're not even per se a factor.
Okay,
Yeah, they show up about this much.
oh, okay.
Their penetration is the HD2, I think it is, like Cars 108. So like Cars 108 has their HD station. It's like US 103 is like HD2. Because it's a trickle here in Flint.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. So let's go around the room and talk about what you like or dislike about the station. Regarding the 103.9, the Fox, who listens to the Fox Morning Show? Johnny
Catch it a
Burke and
little
stuff.
bit, but not much.
Okay.
Don't let him go.
John?
Yeah, don't let him retire.
Well, I don't have any say in that. I know John hasn't brought that word up yet. But it's John's job till he wants to leave,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. I guess is what I would say to that.
He's not ready.
So what are some of the likes and dislikes that you have about the station? And just, this is an open forum and just be honest. I mean, we all don't like everything, but we all may not dislike everything, but
Johnny Burke and Steph.
that's what you like
That's,
or dislike.
I'm sorry to admit, but that's all I listen to
Okay.
on the Fox.
Okay,
That's, like I mentioned before, I've been listening to Johnny for, since he moved here
okay,
in 1980. And followed him, from
sure.
from Tricks to Las Vegas and Buffalo and back to Oldies 96
Sure.
and down here. So don't bring on any live people that will get Johnny released.
Okay. Well, I think Steph would rather work with him than without him.
Yeah.
So I think we're staying
Yeah.
safe there. I don't think she has any desire to be in there on her own. And it takes two to tango, I think a guy, female bouncing off each other. I think they sound better now than they ever have. I think they're just really starting to gel.
They're growing
Yeah.
together.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gel.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
wasn't Steph on like Sunday nights or something?
She was for a bit when she
Yeah.
first started here. She actually started here part-time on the weekends. And just kind of fell into the role.
Yeah.
So, John, when John was at H&N, I was actually working at H&N with that group as well at the same time. I was one of their sales managers up there. There's rating periods where John was not only number one in Saginaw, but he was number one in Flint in the morning at the same time.
And I used to listen to that morning show, and when they got released, I didn't listen to the radio station. I listened to their morning show. And when they got released, I quit 100% listening to the radio station.
So you were what they
I
call a
followed
loyal listener.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I followed him.
Yeah, and that's such a shame because what happens is corporate radio buys them, and they're on the stock market, so they have to report to all their stock people every day, you know, they gotta answer for this and answer for that. And what do you read all the time in the trades? They're going bankrupt. Or this one's going bankrupt, that one's going bankrupt. And now they're all been bankrupt probably 2 or 3 times. I don't know how many times you're able to go bankrupt, but boy, so they gotta start cutting cost. Well, now you have a syndicated show come in and replace them. So, boy, I just saved, you know, a couple $100,000 in a salary right there because now I just bring it in over the burden. And that's why people syndicate. It's all about cutting costs. It ain't necessarily it's going to be a better show. And it's definitely not going to be local. But that's how they cut cost, unfortunately.
One of the things that I always wish, and I don't know if I'm the only person, but I wouldn't mind there being 10 things you should know instead of only 5 things you should know on the top of the hour. Or even if it's, maybe do it every half hour. Because I used to work and I'm retired and I used to get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Sure.
And I immediately turned on Johnny Burke every single morning. And now that I'm retired, I don't have to get up that early, but I do still wake up a little bit earlier so I can listen as much as I can to his morning show.
Yeah.
And the news is something that I will hush people. Hush, I gotta hear this.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's something where I'm the only person, I don't know, but I wish there was a little more than just 5 things.
Well, people are going to hear about you. They're going to hear what your opinion is. So that's why we're here.
Count the number of news items that Al
It's not,
covers. He says it's only 5.
Right,
Usually it's about 8,
okay.
but.
is Hale not good? That guy is
Yeah.
like the best news guy in I was actually working across the street. Remember a guy in Flint named
Les Root.
pardon me?
Was it Les Root?
Les Root.
Yeah.
Thank you. And corporate radio came in and they blew out like 18 people in one day. And they threw this man a box, told him to pack stuff and go. That's how they treated us after 30-some years of loyalty to that company. That's how they sent him down the road. Shane, this guy's in the Hall of Fame in Michigan for news broadcaster. That's what he got after 30 years. Anybody have things that you dislike? Don't, just because I'm the GM, don't be bashful. If there's something you don't like,
Yes,
we want to hear it.
Jeremy Finnick, when he's on air, yelling and screaming. It just irritates me.
Okay.
You know, it's, talk to me. Don't yell and scream.
Yeah.
I know that's part of his on-air personality.
Jeremy's just a hyper person anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really,
But didn't you say you only listen to the morning show?
oh, yes. But you find him on there too.
There's times where
Yeah.
people take vacations and they'll switch around over there, or maybe somebody's got going. Yeah, so there's times where, but you probably have me to blame for that personally. When
Well, yeah, you hired him.
I did, when Jeremy has probably the highest ratings on his radio station, his shift.
I love him.
People love
I love it when he calls people by the wrong name.
it. Yeah, isn't that
I love it.
It's a
hilarious?
420 contest. Yeah.
But
I absolutely love it.
But when Mr. Cruel bought this radio station, and I just sat there and I listened for a while, and what I felt was we were sounding old and stale, and I wanted to give it a little kick and sound a little hipper and younger. but still be classic rock. And I think we've accomplished that goal. The station moves right along now, and it sounds younger. And how you do that is everything between the lines. And that's what Jeremy does. He
Mhm.
programs this radio station. All the liners in between songs. And that's how you make it sound younger and hipper and faster. And I think we've accomplished that goal. I think the station hasn't sounded any better than what it does today.
Just to kind of jump into, like, I followed Jeremy because he was on CK 105.
I was there when he
He was at
started.
105, yep. I won Prince tickets from him. But when he was at 105, and then he was at 108, so I followed him to 108. Then when I heard he was coming to the Fox, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna give this station a try. And he was actually the one that brought me over to the Fox, because you're right, it sounded like a very old person radio station.
Yes.
And it's like,
Nothing against the folks
And
that
that's
were
right,
there.
yeah,
That's
it's-
just how they ran the radio
but
station.
yeah, it was a very different sound. And then when he came in, it's like, oh, okay, give this a chance. I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. And then telling my friends and then telling my coworkers, like, hey, give this guy a chance. And what helped for us is, if you work until like 4 PM or so or whatever, like, hey, listen to him on the way home. And the other thing that I'm very appreciative of was that I used to teach over at Baker College in Owasso.
Okay.
And what I was very appreciative of was or Classic Fox was the only station that was live at the time when there was a tornado warning.
Yeah,
That was in
amen.
Shiawassee County. And so I was able to let my colleagues know, it's like, hey, there's a tornado warning that's coming, because where we taught, we didn't really necessarily have anything, but we had the radio on, like, put it on 103.9. And so they were the only station that was live, because I think 105 had some can thing or something like that.
Well, when you're
But-
syndicated during that
Yeah.
time frame, and nobody's in the studio,
Right.
and a tornado comes that fast,
Mhm.
they're not even there to. And I didn't get in an argument with the gentleman, but he came in to buy some advertising. And he looked at me and he says, I think I need to be on the country station too. And I says, well, what part of the day? And he says, well, I'd like to be on there at midday. And I says, well, they're not live. And he says, wait a minute. Yeah, they're live. I hear her talking. I says, that's called voice tracking. They voice track it. It sounds live to the average listener, but they're not even in the studio. Okay. So the guy wouldn't believe me. So I says, okay. So I called over there. I pretended I was somebody else. And I says, may I speak to the DJ that's on the air right now? And the girl got real quiet. They answered the phone and she says, well, they're not here. And I go, what do you mean they're not here? I hear them talking. She says, well, they tape it and then they play it back. And I go, oh. So I can't even, I wanted to request a certain song. Well, you can't do it because there's nobody here. And the guy just looked at me and goes, I'll be doggone. And he just ended up advertising with us instead of them for that reason. And it wasn't that I was out to bash our competitor or anything, but shouldn't they know that? I mean, we try in non-offensive ways to let people know that over the air. But our goal is not to bash our we don't even care what they do across the street. It doesn't affect us at all.
Yeah, one of the stations I listen to, especially on weekends, 105.7, The Bird,
Okay.
a relatively new one in Alpena, mainly oldies. And the one guy they have,
Who owns that? Does they say?
Not Les Nessman.
Is it John Carroll?
A guy, no, out of
Carroll
Traverse City,
Traverse City.
WTCM. He's got 5 or 6
Okay.
stations, including WATZ in Alpena.
Okay.
But, you listen to this guy, and then you switch stations to another one in that group in Traverse City,
In areas.
and there he is, you know?
Yeah, that tells you right
Yeah,
there.
you know, he's not, you know, and the, his discussions, you know, on air in Alpena, you know, yeah, we got the Alpena weather, but that's fed to him in Traverse City. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
it's
Was it the
interesting.
Black Diamond Group?
Midwestern Broadcasting
Okay,
in Traverse City.
gotcha.
I know his I can't remember his last name. But he's got 5 or 6 stations.
But it's probably a local owner.
Yeah.
But it's voice track and then they use the syndication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving right along. Who are some of the regular reoccurring personalities that you hear on Johnny's Morning Show?
Melissa Hager,
Okay.
Norm Stalls.
Yeah. How do you like that bit with Norm? Is that
I love that.
Those are great.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Norm Stolz? Wow, this guy is just awesome.
The best.
Awesome. He just retired, so probably won't hear him anymore. But Norm's battling throat
Melissa's-
cancer.
Oh, really?
Melissa's awesome. I love her.
Yep, Melissa's awesome. Any other things in the morning that ring a bell, reoccurring?
No, Andrew Keller.
Andrew
I was
Keller,
gonna say
okay.
the real estate
he's
guy,
just,
but I didn't know his name.
Andrew is just a real estate agent out of Frank Booth. He used to be at TV5.
TV5,
Yeah.
yeah. His wife is still there.
His wife is Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
On TV5 with Dave Custer. But, okay.
I like the deep cuts that are about like 7:45 or so in the morning or whatever. So you're actually hearing like some obscure track or some track or like, you know, that my parents were listening to. I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that in years. I'm like, oh, because there'll be times I'm like, okay, what was that song? Now I got to write that down or figure that out. And then
We want that to be the wow factor.
that, yeah.
We want to
definitely
play
has-
that song and you guys go, wow.
Yeah.
I haven't
That
heard
song
that
in
in 30 years, yeah.
That's the wow
And
factor.
that, we like that, just so you know.
I like
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like
my
to see
husband and I
hear it
love it.
a lot more frequently than just
Well,
7:45 in the morning.
They make that what we call a featured thing. Okay? It's a featured thing. And that's one of their special things they do. Just like they started that
Shake and Wake.
Shake and Wake. Yeah, it's kind of cute, you know, but people love it. People call in and they get tons of phone calls. Tomorrow, can it be this song? Or tomorrow, can it be that song? And so that's how they come up with the songs. You guys give them the music that they use.
They haven't played my song yet.
Okay. Did you call them and tell them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Madison Rising,
Well, you better call them again and pull your weight.
national anthem.
They played mine Friday.
What do you like about the morning show and what don't you like?
It's not
We've heard a lot of things about,
I like watching Johnny get frustrated when the equipment's not working properly.
what do you think about them going live on Facebook? Do you like that?
I like
Yeah.
that.
I like
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Yeah,
I
I
just
like
want
it.
you to know that.
I just
Yeah.
love watching him get
That's
frustrated.
what I get paid to do, is come up with some ideas.
I like the fact that they go till 10. Is that a permanent thing?
Yeah, we tried something, through the advice of our consultant to make that 9 to 10 hour commercial free.
Oh, okay. I hadn't even noticed that, but
Yeah,
okay.
okay, so from 9 to 10, remember it was commercial free, was always 6 to 10 live in the morning. And we said, okay, we'll make that commercial free. And the whole thing behind that was hopefully it would boost the ratings. Okay, so after several rating periods, we reevaluated And guess what? It didn't do anything. So we're like, okay. Here's the cute thing. For some reason, whenever we do, our competitors want to do it. So when we went commercial free, they went commercial free in that hour. It's like we're almost programming the radio stations across the street. But neither here or there, we gave it a whirl, and I didn't feel that it really did anything, so we went back. Now, they're still commercial free, I believe, in that hour. But we waited till the last second, so they probably didn't have time to react to it, because that's usually what they do. So we'll see what they do next rating period. But yeah. So what are some of the other dislikes? No dislikes? I gotta have a few, or these guys are gonna get big heads.
You could probably have Johnny and Steph on from 6 to noon.
Well, Steve Driver might not like that. And Steve has excellent ratings too.
I like his voice.
Yeah.
I do like his voice.
You've assembled an awesome staff. You know.
Oh, I'm very blessed to have what I have, yes.
After Derek passed away, Steve took
Yeah.
a while, but
Yeah.
he settled right in. He's out.
Yeah, he did. He
Mac is
picked it
very
right up.
knowledgeable, but he wasn't Jeremy.
It seems like every time, see what's happening is down in the big city in Detroit. It's all corporate owned, and they're all trying to save a buck, and they're laying off really good DJs like there's no tomorrow. And once in a while, we'll get one that calls up here and says, man, I don't want to get out of radio. I love radio. Any chance you're looking for somebody? And so we take a gamble. But for some reason, that drive, it just doesn't seem to work out. And it's same with salespeople, because I run the sales department as well. You got to have people that live right in the community and are part of the community, and they know all the streets and they know everything and everybody. When you're from out of town, you're kind of like a stranger. But yeah, Mac did a very, very good job. He's very good on the air. I actually worked with Mac years ago in Toledo, Ohio. He was on our classic rock station in there in Ohio. So, but the drive got to him. You know, if anybody here ever get in a car at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and try to drive to Detroit?
Yes.
Tell us about your drive someday.
Oh, I'd rather pluck up my own eyeballs.
Yeah.
Some days.
It's horrific.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I had a good friend back when Art Band was still around. And the Art Band training school is at the main store down in Detroit, I think off.
I know where you're talking about. I can't place the name of the,
He
it'll
says,
come to me when they leave,
Bill,
but I know exactly where you're describing.
it's a nightmare. He says, I go through hell getting there every morning. And you're so rattled. You get there, now you have 5 minutes, you gotta hurry up, walk, and you're just still all jittered up from the drive. Then when you get out, you got the same thing going home. He said it's nuts. So there's something to be said for just hiring local. Sometimes you can't find local people to fill the spot, but we try to do the best we can to find a local person. Okay, moving right along. How does Steph Barber compare to Johnny's previous host?
I didn't like his last 2 or 3. I
Okay.
mean, I don't know, I think that's being mean, but I didn't like them. They were too, in my opinion, they were too feminine. They were too girly girl.
Okay.
And that's what I like about Steph. And I don't, that's not a mean thing, because I'm a big tomboy myself. I'm always outside doing things in the woods. I have horses. I'm a farm girl just like she is. And I think I like her. She's kind of like a badass woman
Yeah.
instead of a
One of the boys.
one of the other women that you had I would watch her on Facebook where she was always messing with her hair and making sure that she looked just right for Facebook, and it drove me insane to where I quit watching it.
I think Steph she's down to earth and she's a good sport.
Yeah.
Very good
But
sport.
she's not unassertive. She's not, a pushover.
Right.
She's her own person, and she can go toe to toe with Johnny,
Yes.
but yet they complement each other. There's
Very
a
good.
flow and a cohesiveness that's just very enjoyable, very pleasant.
Great.
So
Yeah, Lisa Marie wasn't, the right person to, work with Johnny. Where she is now, I think it's more suited to her.
She's in control. Now,
Mhm.
me.
Now with Blondie, there's a difference.
Oh, Blondie used to give it to Johnny, didn't she? Yeah, Ron, she had something.
Steph is levels above the
Yeah,
previous.
Steph's awesome.
And
Steph's really a good person in real life too. Yeah, I really like her. She's dynamite. Good person.
Don't tell her this, but I know her ex-husband.
No.
And I have to say,
God.
I love her. Of course, he's got nothing nice to say about her.
Oh, of course.
I
not.
love her.
Yeah.
I think she's amazing. She's, in my opinion, the perfect spot with Johnny.
Great.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Just to jump in too, like,
Yes, sir.
so, and I think Lisa Marino, I think she's running solo on, at Cars 108. But there was a time, I think it was Erica, I think that was one of the co-hosts. She just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, there was a time that I just like stopped listening. And it's like, okay, I'll find CDs or something else. And
So
then
you were not an Erica
I was
fan.
not a fan of her. She
Now-
just felt like she was too good for everyone. Like, even when they would have the food trucks or, and people would try to talk to her a little bit or whatever.
Okay.
And it's kind of a little bit standoffish. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out. And now, like, Steph or whatever, like, she's just phenomenal. Like, she's very knowledgeable.
Yeah,
it's a
she's
good fit.
super
Like,
knowledgeable.
it's not.
She knows her music, that
Oh,
girl.
I like that.
absolutely,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. But they just seem to be like, this is probably the best fit. Well, Blondie was good too, back in the days of H&M, but Steph seems to be like the perfect fit, or so. And like I said, it wasn't with Lisa Marie and Erica, I remember, and then I think there's another lady too, Amy. Amy always, like, it always felt like Amy was never there. Or the days I would listen to, like, oh, someone else was in for her, and I was like, oh, Melissa Hager, oh, she should be the co-host, and
Yeah.
or so. But everything seems to be like top notch now, as opposed to what it was in the past.
Good. Yeah, Erica also was from Detroit.
Oh, was she? Okay,
And the
that
drive
makes a lot
got
of sense.
her.
Ah.
Okay, please consider your listening to the Fox during the past few months. Do you feel you're listening more, less, or about the same? And
More.
why?
More for me, because I'm
More.
retired.
Okay,
about the same here. I'm
About the same.
commuting to and from work, so.
okay.
Yeah, about the same, when, at 10 o'clock when Johnny's done, Sirius XM for me.
Gotcha.
But I,
Just curious, what do you listen to when you go to Sirius XM?
60s on 73, channel 73.
Okay, gotcha.
I wake up in the morning to Johnny Burke and I go to sleep at night with,
So you like the
Fox.
oldies?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, with Fox.
Gotcha.
And it's us old people. But I get up at 5 o'clock every morning too.
I do too.
And I've been retired for 17 years, but
Wow, lucky you. Hey, Rod.
Previous job, you know, I was always in the office at 6:30, you know, making the coffee,
Sure,
getting my newspaper. I worked in the newspaper.
okay.
And shovel the sidewalks in the wintertime
Wow,
and
good man to have around. Anybody else like to comment
I
on this?
listen a little more than I did because I'm listening to Dan Richards more.
Okay,
You know, usually. on
yeah, we'll get to that
But
later.
I've started listening to that more. I
Okay.
enjoy it.
Okay,
I think more now because I'll listen to Johnny in the morning and then coming home, I'll listen to Jeremy, for that. And like I said, probably like I said, more so weekends are a little bit, maybe less, just because it's just music for the most part. I mean, there really is not a whole lot of DJ banter going on.
Yeah.
And
well, we do have some
But
part-timers.
you're live,
on
yeah,
the
you
weekend.
are live, which I'm very grateful
Yep.
for, but
Whenever you hear somebody talk, you know they're live in that studio.
that's great.
That's just plain fact.
It's good to have.
You had your hand up,
Yeah.
Julie?
Yep. I'd say I'm listening a little more. I am dropping. I know you mentioned Sunday nights. I don't care for the Sunday night show, so I've
Okay.
been kind of channel surfing during that.
Okay,
Not that I don't like the mix of the country and the classic. It's just sometimes they play country that's so old. I'm like, it's like
Well-
putting me to sleep. But I realize that other people probably love it.
but that's the thing behind Dan Richards' show is classic country.
Classic country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you only have me to blame for that, but we'll get
It's
into that
fine,
later.
fine. I do love the
Sometimes I
contest,
make
though.
good decisions, sometimes I make bad, but most of the time they work out.
I am curious. I just want to ask you, do you remember if it was I'm bad with time frames. I want to say a year ago, maybe 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
when it was Sunday, I think it was Sunday nights that you guys were kind of experimenting a little bit with music. Like you were taking classic rock and you were kind of rolling it into another song and you were kind of messing with the beats a little bit.
DJ Chachi.
How did that go, like rating wise? I loved it, but it didn't last long.
I liked it too. DJ Chachi is a personal friend of mine, and I ran into him one day and I says, "Hey, Chach, can you take classic rock and just mix it up?" And he says, "Billy, that's what I do." Now, do you realize that Chachi is the main DJ at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit? He's the main DJ for the Pistons, the Red Wings.
I think it is
He
Lions.
used to do the
Oh,
Lions.
do you? Okay.
Yeah. So he's made quite a name for himself. But personally, this is how I tested it. I had Chachi put together a mock tape for me. Okay. And my wife and I both drive Harley Davidsons, and I converted my garage into my man cave and made a Harley garage, you know, and all that stuff. And Chachi, I took Chachi's CD, I put it in, and I just started playing it. Because we had probably 20 people over, okay? 10 guys, 10 girls. And I just started watching, and I put that tape in, because it gets you going.
It does.
You know, all of a sudden, here's the girls. Wow, really like that. We're kind of out there just dancing, and they go, "Wow, what station is this?" You know, what you use that as an indicator, of course. And so I gave it a whirl. Why not? The problem with the show was the guy's so darn popular that he didn't have time to do it anymore, because he's doing a game down in Detroit. So he just didn't have time. So we had to blank it and move on. Does the Foxhole Morning Show play too many commercials or just the right amount?
Too many,
Too many?
too many. I'd
I
rather
think it's
listen
Just
to,
right.
I'd rather listen to the more rapport between Steph and Johnny and more human interest stories, more local news
Yeah.
than all the commercials.
Well,
But
unfortunately,
I'm commercial bitter, so I might not be the best gauge.
well,
I'm just over it. Stop
do you
trying to
guys
sell me.
in general think we play too many commercials?
I don't think.
No, I think it's about right.
I think it's-
Believe this or not, but this is fact. We play in an hour only a total of 13 minutes of commercials.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Like I said, I'm probably the wrong age
Yeah.
for that question.
And
So
we do it in 2 commercial breaks. One's 7 minutes long and the other one's 6 minutes long. Other than that, it's all music. Other than the morning show, it's mostly this. If John had his way, all he would do is talk. If
I'm
you
good with that.
if you remember back in the H&N days, he talked. They didn't play any music.
Yeah, they didn't.
They played 0 music. And we says, look, our audience needs to have music. Because that's really why most people listen to a station, unless it's like all news talk or something, and you just want news or whatever. But yeah, if they had their way, John did be talking. But we make them play commercials, but we don't play any more than 13 commercials minutes in any hour.
So when you're hearing a set of commercials, you know it's gonna be a bit.
What? 6 or 7 minutes.
Okay.
I think the break at 26 and the break at 50 is 7.
Okay.
Now,
That's why.
what may be happening here is advertisers have a choice. They can buy a 60-second commercial, a 30-second commercial, and now all of a sudden we sell a lot of 15-second commercials. So it could be where you hear a 15-second commercial, then a 30, and then a 15. So you've actually heard 4 commercials, but it's only been a minute. But it sounds like you're playing more commercials. But I can guarantee you, because I keep a close eye on this, we don't play any more than 13 minutes an hour in commercials. Now, some of these corporate radio stations, and we monitor heavily, I've heard them play over 20 minutes of solid commercials in the same break. In the same break. That's like a nasty no-no. Okay. Who are the other personalities on 103.9 The Fox? And what do you like or dislike about them? We heard you mention a little bit about Jeremy. But who's our other personalities on the station?
One of them, you've got one on the weekend. He only comes on the weekend, and I want to say it's like late morning time frame. My husband can't stand him. He says he sounds like Bullwinkle. And I cannot remember his name.
Is it Mark or Dale?
I think it's Dale, but don't quote me.
Okay, or
I would have to
we
hear
have a
it.
Kelly. We have a Mark, a Kelly, a Dale,
I think it's Dale. What's Dale's last name?
Willis. Dale Willis.
Yeah, I would have to hear his voice, but I know my husband can't stand him, and we'll be driving somewhere. I love your station, so it's on constantly for me.
Yeah.
He's the channel surfer. And so if he hears what he calls Bullwinkle, he'll switch it. And it's
Gotcha.
only the weekends, and I want to say it's late morning, early afternoon, somewhere in that area.
Okay. Anybody else?
Dan Richards,
Dan Richards?
I like him.
You like Dan?
Yeah, I like it. I like his show.
Yeah.
In fact, I mentioned to the Screamer, to Jeremy, that needs to be on a little bit more.
I'll give you a little history on Dan and that show. I told you all that years ago I was right here and I managed B95, right? Well, back in the early 80s, I started that show with Dan Richards on B95. Okay? And I had Dan for years. In fact, his wife Georgianne was doing promotions and we had it going on, you know, we really did. That was the station back in the day. And I left to pursue a different radio station. I went down to Toledo for a while. Then went to North Carolina, but corporate radio buys B95. And they didn't want a show. So Dan left. And then Dan left. When Dan left, KCQ out of Saginaw picked him up. And he did a show on KCQ on Sunday night, the same time frame for 17 years. Okay. Now he's a local owner up there. He decided to do a little syndication. So now Dan's out. Okay. Well, I caught wind of it. I called up Dan and I says, look, this is going to be a little challenge, but I'd love you to come on to Fox and do your show this Sunday night, right? Dan, do you feel you could take classic country and mix it with classic rock? And literally, if you take and just Google, if you take and just Google outlaw country and classic rock, they blend together. Do you know how many Harley Davidson like events I've been to over my lifetime? Hundreds. And guess who's always on stage as the entertainment? Classic rock artist or country. So Harley riders like it both. So I'm going, so why could this work? So I brought Dan on board. And Dan just finished his first year on the Fox. I think he does a wonderful job. And guess what? His show in that time frame on Sunday night, I believe now is the most listened to show in the market. Sunday night. So go figure.
I like that show, so I'm not into country music at all, but it's a really entertaining.
Well, the
show.
modern day, and I go to Nashville a lot. One of my favorite party places to go to. Not that I party hard anymore, but I try. Nashville's a riot. Anybody have been there?
Many
Oh my God.
times. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. You know what I'm talking about. You need to go there. The country today is like poppish.
Yeah, that's my, that's, yeah,
Crossover.
we all,
Yeah,
husband and I
I
agree.
like the old traditional, like when I listen to XM country, I listen to, I think it's called Prime Country.
Prime country, yeah.
I listen to that all day long. So, do you have something to say, Travis?
No,
I didn't cut you off,
no,
did I?
no,
Okay.
just that, that is a good program. They're probably actually, it's probably the only local one that's airing, because like locally, at that time frame, we're the only local DJ. 'Cause
I guarantee it.
I think everything's all
Locally
syndicated,
show at that time frame.
pretty much, because
And guess what? Dan's in that studio live.
that's awesome.
Now, you probably know your local hero, country guy, right?
I don't listen to country, but I love
Waylon Handel?
Nashville. Everybody in my life listens to it, but me, I listen to you guys.
Do you know who Waylon Handel is?
Yes, I do.
From Millington?
Yes, I do know him.
He's
Yes,
in
I
there
know who you're
with
talking.
Dad all the time.
Oh, I didn't know
Do you
that.
realize Waylon now has, I think, 3 of his own songs that he
Mhm.
wrote?
Yeah.
Like in the top 60 on country charts?
Yeah.
That's huge. Huge. That kid's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, he's
You,
got
you got a hometown celebrity right there. Okay, next question. When it comes to getting involved with the community, how do you think we rate our involvement? with
I'd
the
like to speak
community?
up to that one. I would say I'd give you guys a 10 on that, because I started working here in Flint over the past 6 months and I drive in from Owasso. So what you guys have been doing with talking about the community has helped me get to know Flint even more because
Okay.
I'm in a job where I have to get to know the community as well. So that's helped me along. So I love it. I think you guys are doing great with that.
Great, thank you. Anybody else?
I love the fact that you guys bring in businesses from outside of Flint. Bear Soup Deli, which is in Davison,
Well,
and,
we consider that Flint, even though it's a day.
well, but it's Davison, I mean, anyhow, I like how you bring the outer area in.
Like Genesee County at large.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's not exclusively Flint, but
Yes.
it's still local.
Well, and it's even outside of Genesee County, you guys go outside of that, and I like that too. Well, you go up to Caseville.
Part of Nielsen's ratings is there's the Flint Metro, okay? And the ratings are just the local Flint stations that are in those ratings. But then there's another rating, and it's called TSA, which stands for Total Survey Area. And what makes up our total survey area is all of Genesee County, all of Shiawassee County, all of Saginaw County, and all of Tuscola County. Who do you think is the most listened to radio station out of all those counties and all the radio stations in those counties? So that would include the Saginaw stations as well.
WHNN.
Us.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, literally. That's something to be proud of. I tell you what, I think that's the first time ever in the history of the station that we've earned that ranking. So we're pretty proud of that.
It's nice you go to the local events a lot of
Yeah.
times, like car shows and back to the break,
Oh,
and all that stuff.
you know what? We're everywhere. And people tell us that, man, I see guys everywhere.
I like the rapport that your personalities have with the community when
Yeah.
they're out there. It's not like they're, okay, we're over here and we're attending, but we're not involved or committed to this, you know?
yeah, we're
You don't
here,
have to
but
worry about that with the Fox.
We're-
A lot of the radio stations, they're there, but they're not into it, you know? Your group is, you know,
They,
hands down, always in it.
yeah,
we're here,
what we
but don't
do.
talk to us.
They're approachable,
Yeah.
they're polite, and they're friendly, and they're just, you know, like I said, they're good people. They're not, you know,
well, thank you.
not too removed
We certainly
the
appreciate that.
rest of the.
What do you think about our locally focused programming on a Fox, like our Fox Lounge that we do? Like
I
the Fox
really-
Lounge. Is
I like
anybody,
that.
are you all familiar with the Fox
I like
Lounge?
it a lot.
Okay. I had a dream, just a true story. I had a dream one night. And I dreamt that. It was my idea. I'm like, okay. Every radio station in Flint from 7 p.m. to midnight is syndicated. They're not even live. What can I do with the Fox to stand out above everybody else? And then I had my dream. And I woke up in the morning and then I came in, I says, in our meeting, I says, I had this dream last night and I got this really crazy idea, but here's my vision. We're gonna have local advertisers come in and we're gonna give them the opportunity to spend an entire hour with a DJ between 7 and 8 p.m., Monday through Friday. Now, we still have to play a few songs. I still have to play my 13 minutes of commercials. So they're probably realistically getting a good 30, maybe 35 minutes where they get to talk about their business live on the radio with the DJ, live. And we started it. We literally have a waiting list with local advertisers that want on that show. Nobody else does anything like that. They're syndicated with Delilah or whatever it is that they do at night. They're not even local. So that's what sets us apart. We're live and we're local. And we do, I try, because I work for corporate radio, so what I try to do is think of things that I know they can't do. But my owner gives me the ability to step out of the plate and do stuff like that and be creative, as long as I make money with it.
Well, the lounge is enjoyable because as much as I detest traditional commercials on the radio, I can listen to the lounge every week.
Yeah.
And it's far more engaging to hear someone be excited about their business and where
Oh
they
my
stand in the
gosh,
community and what
yes.
they bring to the community, what the community does for them in terms of loyalty and following. And that's much more enjoyable than the
Imagine you
traditional
own a
ad on the radio.
successful business. Successful business people love to tell their story, how they became successful. And I love hearing it. I like to learn how there's so many different ways to make money in this world. And when they come in and they tell you how they started, what you see where they are today and how they got there, and they just get to talk about it. I think it's pretty cool. And you guys all remember Andre Peters. Okay. Andre was my guy at the time when I started this. Andre was just flat out camera shy. He would not flick that camera on. And then a few people after that kind of dabbled with it. But Jeremy, first thing he does is turn the camera on. He loves that camera. But he does it right. I mean, he's excited. He's in there eating their food, and that's what I wanted it to be. You could see the food they bring in. Now they're bringing in food, and trying the food in front of all you live on the camera. And they're joking and having fun, and it's a real show now. He finally, after all these years, I got what I wanted. Someone that really took that show to the next level. That's what I wanted.
Now, if you could just clone him.
I wish I
That one's
could.
enough.
I wish I could.
I'd like to see more giveaways on the Fox Lounge of the people that are on there. Because
Uh-huh.
you guys give away so much stuff during the days. You know, if they're talking about their product, it's the people with the businesses who are on there giving away something. It'd be a little bit more fun
Okay,
for all
that's
of
a
us
good
listening
point.
too. Something
Yeah.
they probably like to give away.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's
A lot
people
of
talking
them-
about events or something, you're thinking.
Some people
"Why don't they give
do.
A couple tickets away or
Yeah.
something like that, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. It'll be recorded.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, here's do you listen to the Fox on the weekends, and who are some of the personalities? So do most of you listen to the Fox on the weekend?
I listen to the lounge.
To the lounge? Okay, so you're not that's Monday through Friday only, so.
A little bit here and there, so I don't
Yeah.
really know that.
Well, it's the weekend.
Yeah.
We're all busy. We got grass to cut. You know, we're catching up because we all work during the week. Not you, but 17 years retired. I'm so
I got
jealous.
my 30 years in.
Good for you. Okay,
I like the blues in the morning on Sunday.
that's my
I do
next question. Don't
too.
get ahead of me here.
I do too.
What do you think about the Buick City Blues with Sweet Willie T?
I like the disc jockey before him better.
Larry
than
McRae?
Sweet- Yeah, I like Larry McRae better, but I do like Sweet Willie T.
Larry
I mean,
McRae.
Larry, yeah.
Larry McRae is a personal friend of mine.
Okay.
And
He's a
Larry
talented
had
artist.
a manager. Larry only did what his manager said, but sat down with his manager and I go, hey, I'd like to start a blues show on I love the blues.
I love the blues too.
I-
That's if it's not you guys that I'm listening to Pandora and it's the blues station.
Yeah. My wife and I, for years, one of our things we enjoy doing is we'd go over to MTA there, jump on the train, go downtown Chicago, ride the train down, go downtown Chicago, stay right there on the waterfront, and Buddy Guy's
Yes.
bars right
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
And Buddy Guy only would playing his bar, I think it was the month of February.
Mhm.
Other than that, it was always on the Blue Arch. So we would go like every year, every February. We'd go to Chicago, go to Buddy Guy's. And if you've never seen that man, wow.
Amazing.
Multiple times.
I lived in
Phenomenal.
Chicago from 90 to 94,
Yeah, I
and 9
just-
times out of 10, the people in the audience were more famous than the people on stage, but the
Yeah.
people on stage were just mind blowing.
Yeah.
The talent was
Oh.
just, it would just strip you
And,
bare.
and you're sitting
Crazy
in this
talent.
bar, and the way his bar's designed, I mean, you're like from here to the door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so up close and personal. And my idea again,
I like the fact that you've extended it another hour. It's more than just the 1 hour.
well, I received so many emails and calls, and people go, why do you stop after an hour? We're just getting into it, the show's over. So I extended it to, it's Sunday morning, right?
Yeah.
So we did the blues. So I did the blues. Larry McCray hosted the show. And quite frankly, what happened was Larry was doing a gig up in the Thumb somewhere, out Caseville, Port Austin, up in that area somewhere. And on the drive home, his agent that I talked about earlier got in a car accident and died. And Larry just lost it. He's like, and no pun on Larry, but now he started missing a few shows and this, and he was just messed up for a while. And finally I got with him, I says, look, Larry, I says, if you want to do this radio show, I need you here to wait. I mean, this isn't something we can skip. I mean, we got to put on a show every Sunday. And he says, you know what, Bill, if you don't mind, I'd really like to take a break. And I says, I don't mind at all. I totally understand. So lo and behold, because we did carry the blues, I became real close to the Detroit Blues Society. Well, guess who's the president of the Detroit Blues Society? Sweet Willie T. And his real name is Bill Toll, if you don't know that. Well, guess where Bill Toll lives? Sweet Willie T.
Isn't it Davison or something?
Downtown Flint.
Downtown, oh, okay. I was
Are you
thinking-
kidding me? Willie, I got a job for you. He said, I'd be honored to do it, Bill. So he took the show over. Yeah, and he's here every week. But there you go. That's how the show came about. And personally, I like the show. We have a lot of local people that love sponsoring that show because they love the blues and
Is there any radio station besides you that play any blues in this area?
No.
Because I've never found it.
There used to be one out of Lansing though. They would, I think it was.
Not that I'm
the
aware of.
Blues Cruise, and they would do like, they always were advertising the Dusty Cellar and the Green Door, which is like a blues place over there.
okay,
But
yeah.
I don't know if they're still on.
You know, there's a blues bar up in Bay City too. What's it
Didn't know
called?
that.
The Sands Bar? You know when you take Old 13 into Bay City and to the old end?
Mhm.
You take it right to the end there. Then you take a left and you go over the river, okay? And then before you go over the next river, you take a left down this road. It's like where the river split, but there's a peninsula of land there. And you take it all the way down and there's this bar.
Wow.
And they focus on, it's a blues bar. Yeah, it's really cool. Larry plays there all the time, still to this day. Yeah. If you ever want to catch Larry there, I think it's called the Sands Bar, if I'm right. Okay, we love the blues. What do you think about Sunday Night Flashback? We talked about Dan, and how that show came about and whatnot. So I think for the most part, everybody here likes the Sunday night show. Julie, you like
A
dance?
little bit,
Joe?
I'm gonna have to
A
switch
little
over to
bit?
93.
So it'll grow on you, okay, okay. What is the one thing you like the most about the Fox? What's that one thing that you like about
Johnny Burke.
Johnny Burke.
Johnny Burke.
Johnny Burke?
I say the music. I just had some
The
people
music?
come over today and they're like, what station is that? I can't believe they're playing all these good songs. I
Yeah,
was like, wow.
isn't that something?
Yeah.
And you can thank me a little bit for that.
Yeah.
But that's what Jeremy does. And like I said, I told you, we had a consultant and he believes in, people want to hear the hits. People want to hear the hits.
That's not always true.
No. And I don't disagree with him, but I'm like, "Man, these are great songs.
Yeah.
We gotta play these songs."
I think your classic rock fans are largely more about, they're more of an artist-based supportive group
Uh-huh.
than just the hits. And
Right.
they will 9 times out of 10 be more likely to follow certain groups through the decades and
Yep.
through different phases of their careers and their recording,
Yeah.
career, rather than just saying, well, there's this hit for this decade and this hit for that decade and it. No.
Because it really is a known fact, believe it or not, that people never get tired of hearing their favorite songs.
Mhm.
No,
Okay, and then in our world, our listeners are in and out all the time. We're there all the time, but the listenership is in and out all the time. Okay, you jump in your car, you're driving to work, you listen to us for as long as you can, then you go somewhere else. Okay, or you may have a 15-minute drive to work, so you jump in your car, you drive your 15-minute drive to work, you're out. So people are coming and going all the time. So I think the whole theory of playing the hits all the time is you always want to play the hits because when people are coming in, they hear the hit, that's what they want to hear, right? So there's a rhythm to the magic on how it all works. But yet we have all these thousands and thousands of great songs. Why aren't we going deeper? So he says, okay, and that's when Andre Peters at night, if you remember, started the deep cuts.
Yeah. That
And
was
he
great.
played all that. All of us,
Great show.
my favorite show.
Yeah.
So we just decided, look, we need to play this stuff every day, all day with the hits. Put an end to it. Let's just do it. See what happens. So that's the stage we're in right now.
You know,
That's
one
what
of
got
the
us
things is all of our kids, we've got 4 kids, and all of our kids are early 30s, late 20s. And we're such music people that if they're in the car with us, we torture them by, the song will come on your radio station and we'll say, who is this singing? We'll cover up the radio.
Yeah.
And
Go
we-
Shazamming.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, so
I'm over here
we do
for
this
Shazam.
all the time with our kids, and I'll be truthful with you. I think all 4 of our kids are pretty darn good at recognizing my era of songs almost as good as their own era of songs.
Isn't that something how classic rock just never died? It never died. Probably the biggest thing for me that I like it is classic rock is not offensive. I got 3 little grandsons, and I don't have one worry in my mind that when I have them in the car with me, that a song's going to come on and go, oh, God, really? They're playing.
Yeah.
I don't have to change the state. It's a non-offensive music.
And then there's always when Bohemian Rhapsody comes on and you get everybody in the entire car singing along with the song and
Yeah.
you're recording it. Yeah.
Those are them good family moments.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. And least but last, my last question is, does anything need to be changed on Fox? What do I need to change in your mind? Yes, sir.
I would say possibly the logo. I
Our
don't-
logo?
Yeah,
For what reason?
it's too busy. Like your stickers, it's in a white square. You got all this stuff going on. And even if you don't change the logo, at least die cut those, so it's not a big white square when you put them on your vehicle.
Well, this is actually was the original logo. And we just chose to keep it.
Yeah.
We just actually got these brand new bumper stickers, so I want you all
Thank you.
to at least have one. If you look on the back, there's coupons that you can take into and redeem after you put the sticker on there.
But you know, this logo, what station that's from, of course.
Wrsr.
Yeah, Wrsr, just by that shape, you can know what the station is.
Uh-huh.
Because of the shape of it.
Gotcha.
It can be 100 yards away on a car and you know that's the Wrsr.
Yeah.
This,
Well,
if you're 100 yards away, you're like, there's a white square with a bunch of stuff going on.
you know, when you buy a station and was this for so many years.
Yeah. But can you change it or not?
It's like, how far do you want it?
I mean, if you just had the outline of a fox or something with the lettering inside of it instead of,
I'm not saying that it's not doable. I guess
Come
we've
up
never
with the
thought
design
about
and
it.
Submit it.
well, yeah, there's companies that'll do that for you. I'm
Yeah.
not a graphic artist, but I know some people that are, but I mean, it's just a thought.
Okay, well, it's been recorded.
Yeah.
So maybe something we look at. Okay, well, that's all that I have, and I can't personally thank you all enough for taking the time out today to come in.
I have a
And,
couple questions though, too.
yeah, shoot. I'll hand you these while
Thank
you're
you.
asking.
As far as apparel, do you have anything going on now?
Is-
As t-shirts or shirts or anything like that?
Yeah, we,
Because you used to have that gray one with the big fox on it, and that was kind of not that great. You could have a black t-shirt with a small fox logo on the front, and a big one on the back.
it's funny that you say that. We just,
Yeah,
we just, well, you, feel free to keep those pens.
yeah. Thank you for the
Thank
gift too.
You're very welcome. I'm sure you've all had food in Mario's.
Yeah,
Wow.
really good.
It's, it's very good. We're in the process of getting t-shirts right now.
And can you get some of these work shirts, like have a small logo on the front and just a block lettering of the fox or fox rocks?
For the
and then-
staff.
No, for us, we'll buy them. We'll definitely buy them.
Well, we
These
tried
are
that.
30, 40 bucks.
We tried that a few
Yeah.
years ago. We actually set up a store online
Okay.
and
Didn't
we
work
didn't
out.
have
Not
enough
enough draw.
interest to buy the product, but yet everybody wants it for free.
Well, stuff like this, you can get it
But-
ordered ahead and have it printed. as
But I
you-
tell you what, when we're ready, I can let you know where these shirts are coming from. I'm sure you could go into that place, pick out a shirt, and they put the logo on there for you.
I would do that. I'd do it on a jacket,
Yeah.
even a work jacket.
But it's funny you say black. We are putting, our new t-shirts are black.
That's a good color for this, especially all the colors you have in here. That's
Yeah. You know,
great.
The white t-shirt that I have of the fox, this shows up really good. I wore it
Yeah.
a few last night.
yeah, or the gray one was okay. I
white
think
one.
we've even had yellow before.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
The gray one's all right, but the white shows up.
Yeah. But again, thank you folks, really a lot, because we want to do nothing but keep improving our radio station and make it better and better and better. And we need this feedback, okay? If we're doing something wrong, we want to know. And you now all have my name, Bill Bailey, so it's B Bailey
Write that down. What
at
did you write?
classicfox.com. Feel free to email me and say, hey, Bill, I'm Randy from the
Kyle.
whatever, and you know, I'm not liking this or whatever. Just don't be afraid to voice your opinion.
I have one more question. though.
Yes, sir.
How can you add songs to your playlist? Do you add songs or no?
Jeremy adds songs all the time.
Okay. I was wondering if you could have like a contest, like have a bunch of people submit a song one per week and just draw somebody's song and add it to your playlist.
Providing it
It's,
fits the mold.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have a set criteria for what a song would have to have?
Well, we have a
be?
library of thousands of songs.
Okay.
Yeah. And what Jeremy categorizes them. Here's the songs that are gonna play all the time. And then there's lunars and secondary ones and the computer just randomly picks out of this. So the ones we're gonna play all the time, the hits, it's gonna pick out of a list. And then there's another list over here and another list.
And does the radio, might be a dumb question, forgive me if it is, but does the radio station own these songs? Like the ability to play I don't mean own the songs, but do you have to pay a certain amount to
Yes,
be able to play them?
we pay a lot of money to
Okay,
play the music.
okay.
Through
And so,
through a
like,
company called ASCAP.
So if somebody calls in a request and it's a song that literally is not on that list at all, you can't play it, can you?
We can if we don't have it.
Okay.
You can't bring like Kid Rock or anything on your station, can you?
We could.
Why don't you just play one song, that Michigan song, you know?
I agree with you. I tell Jeremy all the time, we
Why
should
doesn't
play
he do
Little
that?
Kid Rock.
Yeah, we all vote that you do that.
Yeah, let's
I'm serious. I like Kid Rock.
And
I've
what
seen
about
him
like
several
one Greta
times.
Van Fleet song, they're local too, you know?
Yeah, amen.
Local boys from Frank Moon.
Yes.
You're
Their
local, they're local.
peers are
Let's
in
do it.
here all the time. You've heard Johnny when he's interviewing
Yeah.
the father there.
Yeah,
He's got a
Melissa's
blues
friends
band.
with
Yeah,
all of
she's
You
them.
wanna see a good local blues band, go see those guys. They're phenomenal. But yeah, we can play Kid Rock,
Kid Rock and Greta Van Fleet, well.
Greta Van Fleet. Well, it's been noted.
Yeah,
Jeremy, do it.
and one suggestion too is maybe like put those on the weekend, maybe have like maybe an expanded playlist on the weekends and, maybe throw in the Kid, because I would love, sitting on the porch or whatever and you hear Kid Rock and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
something a little bit different maybe on the
Yeah.
weekends and maybe kind of throw in maybe, like even contests.
I could listen to him anytime,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
personally.
My weekend idea would be a spotlight on like local Michigan artists.
Yeah,
And then
that's really good.
the artists or albums or songs that influenced them and really mix it up and kind of go back and forth between the decades,
I
like take
that.
your Bob
That's a great
Seger,
idea.
take your Bob Seger, what influenced him, what got him inspired to learn his craft and to go on the road with, like when he had, who was with him, Glenn Fry, Jackson Brown, whoever, and, the Silver Bullet Band. What got them going and what was it that he was listening to coming up that inspired things like Night Moves and,
I agree.
Well, now that you
It's a
mention
great
that,
idea.
all the DJ chatter of them being involved with somebody or seeing somebody in concert or getting to meet them or anything like that is really helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, when they do that, it's like,
Yeah, I love the
Get the-
stories too.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah, Steph has
personal.
got really good stories. I love listening to her.
Yeah, you remember Derek, our
Yeah.
DJ that passed away? He was a good storyteller. He was very good at it.
Oh, one show you guys used to have with Steve Black, he
Uh-huh.
did the theme Fridays, I think it was. And you'd pick a theme and he'd do all songs, everybody call in, like say, space. Anybody call in a song that has something to do with space?
Okay,
or
that was
space
years
outside.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
probably
when
15,
Cuba
20,
song,
well,
yeah.
almost when you first
They
started.
were doing that on the eclipse day. They were playing songs that were
Yeah.
about the moon and about the sun.
Every week he'd have a day of that.
Yeah.
It was probably
Yeah.
hard for the DJ to come up with. all
I think that was the show that he syndicated.
Is
It was
that-
actually on other radio stations.
I've heard of him lately.
So I probably wouldn't have had it on the station just for that reason. I want to be live.
Well, he was
That's
here
my
live
thing.
doing it, because we call in the songs and he
Yeah,
played the
I
songs.
wasn't there at that time. I was already gone,
Okay.
but I know who Steve is and
That was a really fun show
Yeah,
to
cool.
listen to on lunchtime.
very cool. Anybody have anything else?
I'd like to see the ukulele contest again.
The
Oh, yeah, that
ukulele
was fun.
contest.
That
Yeah.
was
You
hard.
couldn't cheat on that, right?
You know, you
Figure that one
got,
out.
you gotta admit, we give away some good prizes.
Yeah, you do.
You know, and our owner's very generous. I mean, who gives away $5,000 to one person?
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, he even went as far when we brought Sly the mascot out, our mascot. You know how we launched him? Does anybody remember what we did? I think it was either Jeremy or Steve Driver got in a suit. You know, somebody's got to Sly, right? Too big. But we brought Sly and he did acts of random acts of kindness. Okay, and our owner gave us thousands of dollars to do this with, and he like got on the MTA bus
I remember this now.
and was handing people $100 bills. Just a random act of kindness.
Yeah.
He was walking downtown Flint, handing out $100 bills. He'd show up here or there, hand out $100 bills. It was pretty cool, you know. But that's what we do. But thanks again for coming in. I appreciate it. And if any of you right now, I can take you down and I can walk you into the studio and you can see Jeremy live in action.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Okay? Thank you. You too. You as well. Might as well while you're here, right? Absolutely.
Show me where it's at.
Okay. Yeah, you can have it done.
And, okay.